we're live, even though it says we're counting down. Hi, welcome. It said we're live, even though we're counting down. They always trick me like that. As you can see, we're here tonight to watch The Fog with my friend Horror Cat Dad. How are you, Larry?
Good. How are you doing, man?
Good, good. I see we're both in a blue hazy fog.
I mean,
Ready?
we're ready, man. I mean, it's one of those things where it's infecting the rooms.
Yeah, it is. It's they're here for our giant gold crosses.
Yeah. Mine's
Luckily, you and
mine's mine's fake though.
I was gonna say neither one of us are a rapper, so I think we'd be okay. Like we don't have the big giant gold cross hanging out.
A little
Um,
spinner thing.
well, how are you going to be watching this tonight? Are you going to be watching it on Amazon Prime, or are you going to watch? You got a hard copy? You going with the streaming copy too?
Yeah, I'm going with the streaming copy. I do have a hard copy, but yeah, no, it's gonna be a lot easier if I just put it on, on Prime, and I already got it at 2 seconds. So whenever y'all are ready.
Okay, I'm still sitting on watch now. So for those of you who are going to hang out, hey, popping the popcorn. Katie's here. Thank you.
Hey, Katie.
Katie is. Speaking of Katie, you may notice at the top of the chat there is tonight's episode is being sponsored by Vote Don for Horror YouTuber of the month of October. So there is a link posted to the top of the chat. I encourage you to go check out that video, hit like, subscribe to Popping the Popcorn, and vote for your buddy Don so I can quit bothering you about this and you never have to hear about it from me again. All right, that's enough right there to just be like, go there and hit Don. All right, just all right. Okay. So I'll probably bring that up once or twice later, but tonight is sponsored by Don for Horror YouTuber of the month for October. Um, Otherwise, in the chat starting to fill up. I love when they all get here. Russell's
Nice.
here. Katie, like I said, my man Zodiac Z. Um, This is a few others are here, but I know my man Mikey's Morgue likes to drop in every now and then. Sometimes Sean Blue Digital. I get the usual crew. So we'll get started here in a few minutes. You're gonna get up tomorrow and go to a con, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna go to Days of the Dead, Houston.
Oh,
So,
okay. Are
yeah,
you going?
so
How many? Like, what's the schedule, the agenda for that?
so there's gonna be it's 3 days. I'm gonna go all 3 days. My buddy Joe, he's coming up. So
Okay.
if you, I mentioned him in my pulse rifle, aliens pulse rifle one. So hey, Sean's here. Hey, Sean, how's it going?
There you go.
But
See?
he's
Arr.
come. You needed the eye patch, man.
I was going to, but I'll be doing Escape from New York sometime down the road, and I'm not trying to burn
Uh,
up the few props I have.
no, but Days of the Dead is gonna be yeah, it's pretty cool. It's gonna have for the surviving people from the original Night of the Living Dead. So I'm really pumped about that. It's got a lot of the aliens cast also. It's got like some of the Marines as well as Newt. They're gonna be there. Tom Woodruff Jr. is gonna be there, so I'm super excited about that.
Even even if you don't get the like close up photo op with Newt, do me a favor and get a picture of her afar or whatever. I'm curious what grown up Newt looks like. I mean, I could Google it, but I'd rather know what she looks like tomorrow or Saturday.
Yeah,
All right, so
she's
that's a
a.
secret mission for me, please.
I will, man. I will for you.
All right, thank you.
Now I'm really interested in. I really want to meet the people from Night of the Living Dead, and also meet Tom Woodruff Jr. He's really the only signature, aside from maybe Tom Noonan, for my Monster Squad poster.
Oh wow, you've been tracking that one down. I don't think I've ever seen that. So you got that one hidden, right?
Yeah, it's a mini poster that I got at an anniversary screening at the Draft House that they did in 2017. So
Okay.
I met Rudy, Phoebe, and Sean, and then and then I met them at Texas. Mostly everybody else at Texas Frightmare like 2 years back.
Okay.
So yeah,
And
so now I'm just missing obviously Tom Noonan and Tom Woodruff Jr.
okay. Well, Tom Noonan's an awesome pull. We were just talking about him the other night. Sean Blue Digital was watching Monster Squad, and we were talking about how good he is as like the Ripper in Last Action
Hmm.
Hero, and
Kane.
he's what the original Red Dragon for in
Hmm.
Manhunter, isn't he? That one with the yeah.
He was also
Um,
Kane in RoboCop 2.
oh yeah, there you go. Nuke.
Nuke.
Kids don't do the nuke. Stay off the nuke. So
Hobbs
yeah,
knew
that's
he
an
didn't do
awesome
it.
grab. Pardon?
Hobbs knew he didn't do it.
Oh yeah, he knew. Stay off the nuke, man. Oh, thank you, Katie's. Katie's encouraging people to go to the video and vote for me for last minute, so I can quit bothering folks about it. Yep. Zodiac knows. Stay away from the nuke. It's bad for you. Let's see. Yeah, mostly folks just popping in. We're watching this tonight on the Amazon Prime. It leaves in 27 hours. I know that specifically because it's staring me in the screen and like yelling at me, like it's going away in 27 hours. You better hurry up and watch this. So even though Larry and I both have it on disc, we're going to watch this streaming version. And if you'd like to watch along, the link is in the description for the movie. Um, so or the description of this video, rather. Sorry. Um, so yeah, I think we should probably get going here in a sec. I see most of the folks who are going to be hanging out are popping in, and they can catch up with us. We'll get them a timestamp.
Hmm.
Um, my two copies I won't be watching is I have this green DVD, the MGM special edition, and it's pretty much the same exact one as this special edition MGM one that I've been getting autographed. That's the one with
Nice,
Carpenter and Tom Atkins. But
nice.
they even make the backs different, but they're the same damn movie. Like it's the same disc and everything when you put them on. So
Hmm.
somebody somewhere just decided to like slap a new poster on something they had a bunch left over of. But
It was like some intern. They were you know, just like, oh, give us something new.
yeah, they were like, well, we think audiences don't like the blue fog. Maybe if we go with a greener fog, or maybe vice versa. They rolled out the green and they were like, you know what, the blue looks a little more foggy. Let's go with that. Like, um, and
The
then I
blue
also
looks
grabbed
more
this piece of
ominous.
shit. And I
Oh,
grabbed this
yeah,
piece of shit. I bought this for $2 previewed. You can even see the previewed stickers on the back here. Bought it for $1.99, and I still got ripped off.
I was
Um,
about to say, you still
yeah.
got gypped.
Yeah, this is the Fog remake with old boy Superman from Smallville. It, as I recall, it has a twist. Uh, it's nothing to do really with this. I mean, there are loose notes, but it's not like the good old fashioned original Fog like we're gonna watch tonight. Do you remember when's the first time you saw this movie?
Man, um, it's been a while. It's like I can't remember if it was in. No, you know what? I saw it when I was a kid at my cousin's. The only thing is, I remember seeing parts of it, but I didn't see the full, full on until like I was maybe in like my 20s, and then
Um,
come to find out, I didn't realize this was a little to go off tangents. Like this is one of my mom's favorite movies, and
mhm.
when she told me, I was like, "Really?" He's like, "You like this movie?" And her other favorite movie is The Exorcist too, oddly enough. And so like for one of her birthdays, we went to go see like a 4K. I took her to go see it on 4K, like a screening of it. So
Mhm.
so yeah, I mean, just that's something that kind of, I guess that makes it a little bit more personal to me because of that. But yeah, I would say
Yeah,
probably in my
it's
20s when I fully saw it, like the whole movie. And yeah, I mean, it's an awesome movie. What about you?
I uh I was just thinking I think pretty much the same thing. My mom, when I was a kid, let me watch Escape from New York. That was one of those ones that was on floating around early 80s on like, ABC and WGN and stuff. You can catch it with commercials.
Hmm.
So I remember when The Fog started floating around with commercials, she said it's not as scary as Halloween, so it's probably okay for me to see. But it was from the Escape from New York guy. And I didn't really understand the difference between what a director, producer, writer, what any of that was. I just knew, you know, Alfred Hitchcock presents this, John Carpenter presents this, like Stephen King's Det Blank or whatever. So I just knew name brands. So the
Hmm.
John Carpenter name brand I understood was attached to this. So in some weird way, I knew it was connected to Escape from New York and Halloween and Thing and all these movies because he was branded so well above it. So,
Yeah,
um,
yeah, it's weird because I feel like this movie always gets not mentioned that much. Like even when I met Carpenter and we went to like the screening of They Live for Texas
mhm.
Primary this year, it's like all the questions they were asking, like nobody asked anything about the fog, and then I stood up and I asked something to Carpenter about it, and like even the guy was like, "Yeah, thanks for asking." Not Carpenter, but the moderator. He's just like, "Man, nobody's mentioned the fog. That's another great one." I was like, "Yeah, it is. I don't know why people aren't even mentioning that. I feel like it's kind of." I don't know, like underrated, swept under the rug a little bit. I don't know.
I think, yeah, with Escape from New York and The Thing and uh, this, like his post Halloween movies, he had like that quick cluster of them together. And I think people just kind of forget about this. And then, like, he goes, starts doing his other famous Carpenter stuff. And he has so many hits that this kind of falls to like mid level. But
Hmm.
like as a Carpenter fan, this is one of my faves because it's got all the Carpenter, it's got all his people in it. It's got his tone, like everybody's real 70s out.
Hmm.
Um, he's working with Deborah Hill like he's supposed to. That's always the best Carpenter.
Oh yeah,
Um, you know, uh, so basically it's a cool movie. I enjoyed it. I saw it when I was a child and it scared the hell out of me. And then because zombie pirate ghost things coming out of the fog. That's wild and crazy, man. Oh, thank you so much, Katie. She just put your link in there. So, folks, I encourage you to go check out Larry. He's been killing it. His
thanks guys.
Feral Predator review. If you're not familiar with my friend here, he does both movie reviews as well as collectible reviews, particular like in figures, different I don't know. I hesitate to call them toys, but you know what I mean. Not so much like antiques, but like personal collectibles we have to go out and find. Figures and
Yeah.
whatnot, Funkos and NECAs and what's that third company you've had a lot of? Um, but
Um.
anyways, uh, doesn't matter. The point is, yeah, if you want to see cool collectibles that are hard to track down and you don't really have time to go find them and stuff, go check out Larry. He does all that work for you, and you're like, oh, I didn't even know they made that. And like the head sculpts and the face sculpts, they do amazing. Like things look exactly like the people they're supposed to be. It's like this looks exactly like Bruce Campbell. It's amazing. So, oh, thank you, Katie. She also shared out the stream. You're a sweetheart. Um,
Thank you, Katie, and thanks Don
so yeah, I'm gonna
for that intro. Or for that.
Well, that's what I mean. Your feral predator. I was getting ready to say your feral predator review is awesome, and I recommend people check it out. That's like a quick encapsulation of like a quick hit of yours. You can get a feel of what sort of cool stuff you're letting people see, and it's doing really well. So,
Yeah, I
um,
was surprised by that. I was like, man, it was 2 3 days in, and it was already going to hit like 1,000 views. I'm like, holy cow, man, this is nuts.
yeah, well, it's a cool figure, and you do it, and that's the reason people can check that out. They see like how you present stuff. You're very gentle with it, and you like kind of show all the different articulation and what's new and the different hands, and you go through and put the different faces and heads on them and stuff. And like it's just cool to watch the little process of what goes on with these figures nowadays compared to like Star Wars and GI Joe guys when I was a kid.
Oh, they're just like just the
Yeah,
one,
exactly.
the
If it
way do
elbow
much.
bent on my action figures, they were awesome. Yeah.
It's like,
So yeah. Um, I see Jamie Hart's here. Hello, Purple Heart. Anytime I see the Purple Heart, I get happy. My friend Jamie's here. Zode, yeah, Sean Blue Digital been lurking around the chat. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. I'm gonna press play on this. Larry's at the 2-second mark on
oh,
his. You got it ready to set?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let me do the play and make sure I got mute on. I am frozen at the 2 second mark also.
Alrighty.
So we'll go ahead and do the 3, 2, 1. Arr! You guys got to go pirate. Rated R. Which of course it was back then. They only had rated PG or rated R. So things like Poltergeist figured out a way to be rated PG, and you're like, how in the hell? But this one
I know,
doesn't.
right? Especially with the face, like getting
Yeah.
dude's like picking his face off and stuff.
Every time I watch Poltergeist, that's like the main thing I think of. It's like, this was rated PG, huh? I think, isn't Jaws PG also?
Yeah.
And it's got nudity in the beginning. Like if you look real close, like if you have a
Yeah.
good copy.
Well, I mean, even like for me, the in Poltergeist is always that clown man that always freaked me out.
Oh, the clown and the pools, the bodies in the pool and
Oh yeah,
stuff.
yeah, coming out of the that actually that part I always thought was like really cool. I wasn't really scared about that part. I was just like, I was like, oh man, that looks cool.
All
It was,
right, so here's John Houseman.
I just love this intro. Like it's kind of like it just gets you, it sets you up and gets you in that spooky ghost, like sort of a ghost story type.
Yeah. Did you ever see I think it's called maybe A Ghost Story, or what the hell is it called? Something like that. It's all those old school actors. And it's like
It's
Fred
what's his
Astaire.
name?
Um but
I know which one you're talking about. I haven't seen it though.
yeah, it's like a bunch of older dudes, and they're telling anthology tales, and it's this same type of thing. Wow, that was a crazy snap zoom.
Yeah,
Um
it was. I noticed that too.
I've never noticed that before. Like that looked like a modern cut, not like a
Hmm.
um but as we were talking about, this is Carpenter after Halloween, after what, Elvis the movie,
Hmm.
um,
The Dark Star,
Dark Star, um,
uh, Precinct, Assault on Precinct
Assault on Precinct
13.
13. Um, but this is before Escape from New York, right? Or is
Yeah,
this
and the
after?
Thing. No, this is
Okay,
before.
okay, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. So this is 80, and then 81 would be Escape from New York and the Thing or whatever. So um,
And
82.
then he did was it Starman? When did he
Yeah, what's
do?
that, like 84, 83? Something? I could probably bring that up. I
I
had it
forget.
done.
That's another one I always forget that he did is Starman. I mean, heck, even Jeff Bridges. I think didn't he win an Academy Award for that movie?
I don't know. I know he did
Or was it nominated?
Starman. Um, Starman, according to him, was he did the Thing, and this around the same time that E.T. came out, and he was convinced that an angry, like killing everybody alien was like the reason that nobody liked his movie, especially when the summer of E.T. was going on. So he was like, since nobody liked the Thing, since nobody liked the Thing, he was more focused on trying to like get redemption or whatever and show aliens as nice. So that's why he wanted to do Starman. That was like his version of ET. So to me, it almost feels half false, even though every time I see it, like I enjoy it. It's a really pretty, almost like romantic movie, kind of
Yeah,
like very odd for Carpenter, but it's cool. It, that feels like the Carpenter I always forget, you know.
yeah, yeah. Like I said, I always forget that one. Like I've seen it. I know I've seen it several times, but that's one movie I just never. I never go back and look at.
Yeah, like I said, it
Carrie's
doesn't.
there.
It
Hi,
doesn't.
Carrie.
Oh, Carrie Grace. No, I'm ignoring everyone. Yeah, hi Carrie. Thank you for pointing that out. I'm trying to connect with the audience and speak to the or connect with you and then speak to the chat every now and then. I find myself jumping around. This also runs as a podcast on the YouTube podcasts like little app thing or whatever. So sometimes I realize it's like I don't know how much of this works for people listening. So I should try to keep coherent thoughts instead of jumping around, but not so
And we
much.
got our
I was going to say Carpenter's cameo.
yep.
Um, and then of course Carpenter's cameo comes up while it says starring Adrienne Barbeau,
Mm-hmm.
who
Okay, that was
later on becomes his wife, right?
yes.
Yes. And then
Janet
also in
Leigh.
the credits there you see Janet Leigh, mother of Jamie Lee Curtis,
So
who's
this
in this also.
so this I was gonna ask you this is this the only time they've been in a movie? I thought this was the only time they've been in a movie together, but I'm not too sure.
Um,
I can't
weren't
think of
they
another
in?
one.
Weren't they both in one of the Halloweens, Resurrection, or one of them? Like, wasn't I think Janet Leigh has a cameo in one of the late Halloweens. I might be making that up. I've had a lot of brain trauma. Um, but yeah, I know for sure this was maybe the first time it ever happened,
Yeah.
if not the only. Um,
Okay, so she was in H2O according to Jamie.
okay, yeah, but I'm not even sure they appear together on screen. I just remember it was more like, oh wow, she's in this. That's an interesting twist, like. Um, anyways, so I don't want to get in trouble with the chat. Hi, Carrie. Thank you for joining us. Um, uh, as well as my man Spicoli. Hey, Spicoli, what up? Film student activated. Yeah, Carrie loves when I go film student mode in these. She likes to have a party. She gets mad at me for getting all nerd in these movies. Um,
But how can you not get nerd out with these movies though?
well, especially Carpenter. He's uh, him, Robert Rodriguez, and I don't know. I'm sure there's some others I'm not thinking of, but they're like the total auteur. Like when you can write your movie, direct your movie, produce your movie, score your movie, edit your movie, all at a professional level. Like you're not an amateur at one of them. That's amazing to me because there's a sense of autonomy. Like even if he completely fell out of the Hollywood system, if he could raise, $100,000, he could probably make a movie.
Mm.
He's just because he has all the skills. That's one of the reasons I've always, like I say, Robert Rodriguez, I compare him to as well. He can just go off and be on his own, as where everybody else is dependent on a cast or a crew.
I like how also starring Tom Atkins. He's like way down on the billing.
Sometimes at the very end, when you get like an also or a featuring or a including, that's like something that your agent fights for because it's special. Featuring or introducing is usually like introducing. Um,
Mm. Yeah.
but like the like you obviously want your name to be top billed or maybe second or third, but then if you can't be that, sometimes you argue it's like, and then let me get that and credit, where I'm highlighted away from everybody else. I'm
The
surprised Janet
best.
Leigh didn't get the and credit.
I think
That
it
would
was just mostly because they put all the. I'm guessing because they wanted to put all the women first.
that could be too. Because
Most of them, I guess, main cast first. I guess.
yeah. um but Atkins, this is a classic Atkins role where
Oh yeah.
he's kind of Atkinsy, but somehow he's banging hot women.
What
Atkins is a
was
hero for that. It's like he's like every dude on a soap opera or a sitcom. Like somehow his girlfriends and wives are always way out of his league.
it's like
It's
George
like they know
Costanza.
he's Atkins though. That's why everybody's like, I want to
Yeah.
hang out with Atkins. He's got natural Atkins magnetism.
How does that guy? That guy just drank the orange juice and put it back.
Yeah.
Like nobody's gonna notice that, right? When they come in, it's like, oh, is this open? Man, what's interesting about this? Have you ever seen that movie? Dead and Buried.
No, actually, I haven't seen that one.
Really?
It's been on my queue forever. I think.
You gotta check that one out. It's very. It has a lot like has a feel of like it's as if like Carpenter, Stephen King, and George Romero like made a movie together. That's what it feels like.
Oh,
Has
okay,
a
that's cool.
very early Robert Englund as well.
Hmm.
Um, has who else is in it? But yeah, it's very good, man. It's pretty cool. There's like a little twist in that one too. Oh, and it's got how could I forget? It's got Grandpa Joe from from Willy Wonka.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now
So
that's a cameo.
oh yeah,
Featuring Grandpa Joe.
right. Not even his real name, just Grandpa Joe.
Yeah, exactly. In the credits, he's listed as Grandpa Joe. So now we're at the 10-minute and 13-second mark, and we're getting another ghost beat here. We started off with the ghost story, so now, like I say, every one of the things I point out when I watch these is the beats. So every 10 minutes we need a horror beat. We're at another horror beat showing up at the 10-minute mark. They're on schedule. And it was 12:05 and it's 11:35. Damn it. So we're a little ahead of schedule on the clock in the movie. It's like Christine. When was
Yeah,
Christine? That was in there as two.
that was after. I think that was after.
Oh, that's after the
Um,
thing.
yeah, it's after the thing,
Because he was going to do Firestarter, and then
and
when the
then
thing flopped, he lost the yeah. Um, so let's see here. Sean Blue Digital's here. Um,
Tommy Lee Wallace.
you like the scene where they're on the boat and Jamie talking about the dead guys on the boat, and Jamie, did you see his eyes? I'm like, yeah, I saw his eyes. Uh, Music by John Carpenter.
Yeah, we're like right. We're right at the same man.
Really?
Right when you
Okay,
said
good.
that,
Yeah,
it's like, oh. And then we don't have to worry about the commercials either, like before, where it was just like random.
yeah. You would think they'd all be on the same cue. That's one of the things about this watch party stuff that's tripped me out is our commercials don't always fall at the same time. Like sometimes they fall at for me it'll be the 10-minute 38 mark, and you it'll be the 10-minute 44 mark. Like I
Hmm.
would have thought there would have just been an even commercial break for all of us. Nah, weird. And another thing this movie has that they don't do enough of anymore, it was popular in the late 70s. They do it and do the right thing, is the narration, quote unquote, like the diegetic narration by the local DJ. Like
Mm.
we're listening to the radio, but really like we're kind of getting a narrator free. We're not supposed to have a voiceover explaining because we already had that with John Houseman up front. But yeah, Stevie Wayne, is that her name?
Yeah, Stevie
Adrienne
Wayne.
Barbeau. Yeah.
Yeah, I got to meet her a couple of times, and she's super nice, really, really nice.
Adrienne Barbeau.
Yeah, I got
Lucky.
to I got to meet her actually both times at Frightmare. I met her this past year. Actually, was it Frightmare this year? No, actually, this year I met her at the Houston Horror Festival. I love
Oh,
the
okay.
scene. I love the scene right here when she's like, "Are you weird?" Well, yes, I am.
He's drinking and driving. He's got a
Yeah,
Budweiser can up front,
and he's a cop, so
and he's
So
picking up hitchhikers. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. He's a
he's,
complex character.
he's
Well,
got a
his character.
he's got a story arc.
Yeah, exactly. Well, his character in Halloween 3, he's a damn alcoholic and like he's out
Yeah,
here macking on chicks and stuff. It's like you need a little social responsibility, Tom Atkins. You're living a little freewheeling and loose. I mean, that's why you're a hero. You're like a role model, but at the same time, I mean, you're a danger to society as well.
that's why he didn't. That's why he didn't make it through Maniac Cop was because he wasn't like a degenerate just going out for chicks and stuff.
I think it was because he's oh snap. See, I like that's a good jump scare. Like the
Hmm.
windows being blown out of the car, not well, it's been 10 minutes. We need something scary to happen. So somebody needs to hear a noise. Let's go into the empty room and a cat can jump out. It's like, we know you're wasting our time, but like this, it makes you jump. But now there's a story of, well, why the hell did that happen? It's
Well, see, I was watching. Who was that? I was watching. I can't remember whose video I was watching recently, and they were doing Nightmare on Elm Street the remake. And the thing I really hated about that movie, aside from the acting in it, was every jump scare, the score would ruin it. It's like you hear the
oh,
music like starting to ramp up, and I'm like, okay, something's coming, obviously, right? And then all of a sudden, like something is okay. It's not really a jump scare when the music is like ruining it.
it's weird. I kind of believe in the opposite of a jump scare. Like there's this whole famous interview with Alfred Hitchcock that you see on things and stuff, where he explains suspense is more scary than scares. Like,
Hmm.
so if you show that there's a monster in the closet or Michael Myers is in the closet or whatever, and he's looking out of the little slats and you can see the woman come in and stuff, you're scared because we know what's going to happen. We know a bomb is under the table, as Hitchcock describes it, as opposed to just like if everybody's just sitting there have dinner and then there's a big explosion and everybody jumps and goes, what the hell happened? Like it's more impactful to show us the danger and then let us squirm as an audience, as opposed to like introduce a quiet scene where we're just on edge waiting for, you know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's because it's like it's building that tension.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I agree. You play the audience like music, and,
Hmm.
and a lot of times now they just sort of tell a story. Um, Jamie points out that she's going to be at Scarefest, Adrienne Barbeau. And Carrie points out that, as you can tell, this stream is once again being sponsored by Vote for Don for Horror YouTuber of the Month for October. The link for that is at the top of the chat. I'll also try to post a link to that in the comment section for those of you watching before October 1st. So actually, make sure you try to get that in a day before October 1st. Poor Katie has to do all the tabulations. And be sure to wish Katie uh, happy horror YouTuber of the month for September. She is our current reigning queen.
And hit
So thank you.
1K
Yes, she did. Look at you keeping up with it. I
and
see my man
and Carrie
Echo
too.
is in the house. Echo Zero, what's up, my friend? Um, and everybody else is just saying hi. And
If y'all
hi.
keep one if y'all keep wondering why I keep like looking down, it's because I have somebody here with me. I don't know if you can see
Oh
her.
no, yeah, look at her hiding out in the fog.
She's
Classic,
just like,
classic movie companion.
yep. She just kept like scratching the door and scratching the door. I was like, okay, I'll let you in. And then now she's just like chilling. The irony is there's a cat bed like right next to her and she's like on the carpet.
Oh, that's cats for you.
I really like the
I
way like this movie is shot, especially like when they're on the boat.
Well, it's weird because it has nothing to do with Jaws, but it almost has that same Jaws vibe to it, where we're in a lot of like like boats and they're sort of tight, and we're getting shots of like the water, and it feels very isolated because the same way nobody can hear you scream in space. If you get out far enough on a boat, nobody can hear you scream or help you out there either. Like
Hmm.
you're on your own, Holmes. So boats by nature are kind of scary if you're a person who, did you ever see Dead Calm? I think it is with Nicole Kidman and maybe Billy Zane. I think it is.
Dead calm. No, I haven't heard of that one.
It's like a thriller horror kind of thing about some people who get boat jacked, but yeah, it just makes you to be afraid. It's like, wait a minute, I'm out here all by myself.
Well, it's like that, isn't it like that other was that is it 47 meters below, or which is the one where the girl is out in the water? She's like a surfer and there's like a bunch of sharks and she's all by herself.
Yeah, that might be 47 meters below. Because whatchamacallit, Open Water is like that same plot too, but slightly different.
Oh, okay.
Where they, yeah, where they like get left behind. Here's the first pirates we're talking over. They show up with their evil hooks.
Oh,
Yeah, always. Yeah, we got it right there. Here's Buck Flowers. Um, he shows up in a bunch of Carpenter's movies.
I was gonna say, it's
We're
like
just,
we'll see you again in They Live.
yeah, exactly. Um, Carpenter has an affinity for all these old school cowboy actors because he grew up on cowboy movies. So the same way Tarantino uses like John Travolta, and they're like, "Wow, that's amazing how you dusted off John Travolta," and he's like, "No, I just like John Travolta. To me, he's a big star." Like that's how a bunch of the people Carpenter uses. It's like folks he grew up with, so he's just honored to get a chance to put them in his movies.
Yeah, there you go. Carrie had it. I was like, it's escaping me for the name. It was Open
47
Water.
meters down, yeah, is the two sisters. Okay, yeah,
Boom. I
yeah.
like this part right here. Pop, pop.
Oof. Yeah, the fog itself is creepy when it happens. It rolls in and you can't see, but then the idea that there's also ghost pirates hiding in the fog and they have like a whole ghost backstory going with it and stuff. It ties in a lot of spooky elements at once.
Well, I like how the later on in the movie when the priest starts reading from the journal to Janet Leigh and Nancy Loomis, the whole like the I guess the journal of what they did to them and stuff. I thought that was that right there, that part of the narration. It makes you like imagine like, man, how did this, how they all how did it, all this come about and stuff. So I
Yeah,
think it's just good writing. I don't know. I mean, it when he's telling that part, I would always think like, man, I wonder what that looked like. I wish they would have. I mean, not maybe not. I'd rather they just leave it the way it is, just spoken, and not actually flash back to something like that or ever show it. You know what I mean? Some things are better not shown, just said.
yeah. Well, when you have in movies generally you want to show not tell, but every now and then you want to leave the audience's mind open to create a backstory. Like you don't have to do the work, you can just let them. Like you can just show me a guy in cool armor named Boba Fett and I'll be like, wow, I bet he's a cool neat guy. But once you start telling me his story and everything, it's like, never mind. Forget it, I was
Well, it's
wrong.
it's funny that you bring that up because I always use the example of the A New Hope when Obi-Wan's talking to Luke and he's like, oh, you served with my father in the Clone Wars. Like as a kid, I always like, what was that like?
Yeah, it seemed
And
like a
then
way bigger grandiose adventure and everybody's
yeah,
adventure was kind of their own. I think that's the problem when they translate books to movies is the stuff that everybody makes up in their head can never be captured on screen. Damn it, Atkins, Playboy of the Year. He met this hitchhiker not minutes ago and he's already got her back home. Hey,
of
Jamie
the
Lee, want to come to the crib? It's
yeah.
that easy.
Well,
Um,
she did ask him if he was weird, and you know, I guess that was it. Yeah,
yeah. Um, So, like I said, Carrie says, yeah, the 47 meters is the one with the two sisters. Jamie agrees that Buck Flowers makes everything better. He's so, yeah, he's one of them people that's just interesting. As soon as he's on screen, he's cool. Um,
that's
Carrie is,
why.
yeah, shark movies are Carrie's jam. She spent a big portion of July, I believe it was, doing shark movies. So if you need to find shark movies and shark movie reviews, please check out our friend Carrie Craves Cinema. If someone with a wrench would copy her link and put it in there, that would be awesome. Thank you. Um, but Russell says, how much do pirate earrings cost? $1 an ear. Um, Jamie Hart points out Ghost in the Fog is very Scooby Doo. I agree. It is. There's something weird. Like this seems like a trope. The ghost pirate. Like even Pirates of the Caribbean or Caribbean. Potato potato. It feels like just we all know this story, yet somehow it's not told very often. It's very like there's this in Pirates of the Caribbean, and I don't know, probably some old Blackbeard movie from the '60s I never saw, but it feels like this story should be told 100 times over.
Yeah, I feel like stuff like this. I mean, really ghost story type movies, like these classic ones, like you don't really get movies like that anymore. There's a lot of stuff you don't really get
Yeah.
that much of anymore. That
Well, it
saved
all
them
goes
right
back
there.
to what the beginning had with John Houseman telling the kids a ghost story around the campfire. That's what all these are. They're supposed to scare the crap out of little kids so their imaginations will run wild, and adults can kind of look and laugh and maybe get a little bit creeped out, but know it's all just fun. It's like a haunted house for them or whatever. But when you start making like big budget movies and everything has to be a tentpole film that makes $100 million, and horror just doesn't do that, so we get way less good horror in theater. Luckily, horror is always cheap to make, so there'll always be tons of low budget horror.
And profitable, and the ones that actually like hit. That's why like they end up becoming franchises, because it's like we made it for X amount of dollars, and it just skyrocketed and it hit.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
it's
return on investment on horror is fantastic. And movie budgeting is real sketchy. So if you're a person that needs to allegedly, possibly, not anybody I'm accusing, but it could go on. If you were someone who wanted to do some money laundering or something, you had illegal funds you needed to make clean, investing in a movie and having the weird funding of how movies get made is a great way to wash your money. It's all through the 80s. There were a lot of real questionable money backers for films. Um, so yeah, horror in general is always, I'll give you $100,000 and my girlfriend wants to be the star. So go make your little horror movie. And if you're a creative enough director, writer, editor, musician, you can figure out how to do something awesome. Carrie says you don't need to spoon feed the audience everything, and you leave some stuff to the imagination. Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
You kind of build a world that we're almost spying on movies. That was one of the things Hitchcock kind of talks about in his films, is the voyeuristic nature of movies. Like we're getting to spy on someone else's life. That's what Rear Window is all about. A dude with a broken leg who has to sit there and just watch other people's lives and spy on them. Like the guy with the broken leg is the audience. We have to just sit there and watch other people's lives, and we're helpless. We can't help them from the dangers they're in. Um, but Carrie takes the credit for her brilliant statement. I don't blame her. And she's not going to promote her own channel. And then she says I should watch it. Rear Window is fantastic. How many men does it take to milk a cow? 3. 1 to hold the teats and 2 to move the cow up and down. I gotta learn to quit reading Russell's jokes. Thank you for providing the comic relief, Russell the Joke Man Martling. Adrienne
Dang.
Barbeau being hubba hubba.
Yeah, it was like this, and then the first Swamp Thing.
Oh yeah, she's. I can't figure out if this era just had some really like exceptional women, or is it because I was at the age where this is what influenced what I like. But like in this era is Linda Carter and Lonnie Anderson, and like Lonnie Anderson's basically like Pamela Anderson's the plastic version of Lonnie Anderson. It's like we can try to recreate her with plastic surgery. Like,
There's also
yeah, there's just
Suzanne
smoking hot
Summers.
days. Suzanne Summers, yeah, all in this little like early Farrah Fawcett, just all of them.
Hmm.
Like they're all pre-surgery. I mean, whatever people have to do to make themselves feel better. I'm not an anti-surgery person. If somebody doesn't like themselves and they feel better, and that's what they have to do, that's their business. But just prior to that whole wave of augmentation, there's just quite a choice crop of beautiful women.
But see, like even here, you see like Jamie Lee, even Nancy Loomis. They're dressing like normal. You know, You know what I mean? They're not. They're dressed like casual. They're not dressing like what you would see in the magazines and then like TV shows. And yeah, because I feel
Well,
like
they're not
later.
glammed up. Yeah, they look like normal women living their lives. Yeah, they're
Yeah,
not. They're not presented sexualized or whatever. That's I'm just hanging out in a bikini. It's like no. So
yeah, it
here's
doesn't work
Janet
that way.
Leigh, um, and Janet Leigh, like somehow she was like 30 in 1968 or whatever, and then she became 60 years old and stayed 60 years old for like 40 years. Like she's I've only ever seen her as an older woman, and she was the same older woman for like 40 years. Like how Steve Martin has just always looked old. Like something about Janet Leigh, she's just always looked old. Like she was young in Psycho, and then after that, she's just always been Jamie Lee Curtis's mom.
Well, just look at another. I think another good example is I feel like Barbara Crampton looks the same.
Yeah,
She's in that right now where like you look at her now compared to like the 80s, she almost looks the same. Like it's like she's only aged like maybe a few years here or there, but it's been like decades because I think her comeback was that who who's next or you're next. I think it's like you're next where they like that was like her comeback role or something like that, and now she's like in other horror movies and stuff. I haven't seen that one. I remember hearing about it.
Juan in the chat, welcome Juan. Says points out how exceptionally lovely Jamie Lee Curtis is in True Lies. Yeah, that's one that most dudes who saw at a formative age are like, "Whoa, hey, girl." Um, and then Mikey's Morg points out he loves when Tom Atkins calls Nick Castle. Is isn't Tom Atkins playing Nick Castle? Like, is that his name?
Yes, yeah, that's
Yeah,
his name in this one.
yeah. Um, in the X-ray, the little Amazon trivia dealy, general trivia. Kurt Russell was offered a role. You want
Gas
to
station
elaborate?
attendant.
You want to elaborate any more on that? The name of the old clipper ship was the Elizabeth Dane, whilst the names of the other boats seen in the picture were the Hyperio and the Lady Laura, and partially obscured but most telling, Halloween. So one of the boats was named Halloween. Interesting.
Wow.
By 2020, the restored version of the movie formed part of the Avco Embassy Film Library owned by Studio Canal. Ty Mitchell.
I like to imagine like in the background somewhere you see like the events of Jaws happening.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's
that's
just
what I
like
mean. I guess it's just the era and the clothes and the hair and stuff in the locale. But yeah, this feels like a weird cousin to Jaws. Like we took
well you
care of
saw
that shark problem. Now we got a ghost problem.
right.
It's, we can't catch a break.
It's a really nice church. Reminds me of
Yeah.
like some old school like not even from. I mean, I know this is being filmed. This is filmed in California, but I mean, that's like old school, man. When I was in, I went to Salem in March. It had a lot of like architecture like that, and it was amazing.
Oh yeah. Where I live, this is very common. Strangely, um,
Oh, okay.
we have a lot of this type of architecture. Like because the folks who settled here, people were living here way before Wisconsin was ever a state, not just the natives like the French and stuff. So there's all sorts of like old school buildings that look just like this and lots of old farms and stuff. Um, but also lots of like mixed with Victorian, and so all of this almost makes me feel like home. Like it doesn't look like a foreign place to visit. It looks like outside. Like this church I used to go to a church that looked almost just like this, except for that giant crucifix.
It was a portrait of the dude.
Let's see. Let's look at the chat. Jamie says some of us age well. I that's the thing, Jamie. I don't understand like how Janet Leigh, why that's like that. She's a very pretty woman, but some people like Buck Flowers is an example of what I was saying. Buck Flowers was 60 years old for 50 years. It's like now I can do math. That's impossible. So you know,
It's because they're
I hear
vampires.
people say yes. Exactly. The Steve Martin's the one most people use as an example. Like he just has always played an old guy, but it's like, nah, he just went gray. Like, well, that was probably Janet Leigh's deal. She just immediately settled into playing older roles. She didn't try to hang on to like trying to play voluptuous or whatever.
Good night, Zodiac man. Thanks for coming by.
Oh, it's okay, buddy. I appreciate you, Dre, hanging out, Zode. Sequel will have Quint coming back for the Dead Revenge. Yeah, Sean says the sequel will have Quint. Let me put there we go. Yeah, thanks for hanging out, Zodes. I appreciate it, buddy.
Well,
like Tom Atkins. How old do you think Tom Atkins is in this? He looks like he's 55 or at least 45, but he's probably 28. You know?
He just, like, it's all that partying, man, and all the women.
Yeah, them cigarettes and the driving around drinking tall cans. That'll do it to you. Mikey says he looks like he's in his 20s, but he's 40. And his sister's younger than me, and people think she's his mom. Yeah, I don't know. It usually genetics is the biggest play. Like I have a friend who like started going bald and combing over and stuff like in college. You know, he just looked. So I imagine he looked like he was 40 from the time he was 20. Actors benefit from that. Like, you know, like we say, Buck Flowers can play an old man forever, you know. Burgess Meredith. Burgess Meredith was old as hell for 30, 40 years.
Yeah, I mean, because you saw him in the Rocky movies, and then you see him in like even later in Grumpier Old Men. He still looks the same.
Yeah.
It's
well, even like, Wilford Brimley in The Thing, like he's just even there. He looks like he's 50, and then he goes on to live for another 60 years. You know? It's like, come on, now that's impossible.
Yeah, because you see him in Cocoon and Cocoon Return, and what was that other movie?
I just saw a meme the other day of like a bunch of famous actors, men and women, and their ages of like how old they were. Did you see that too? It's like
no. I was gonna point out that like Tom was already like, all right, time to get sauced
I
up.
saw him with a beer can already. It's like this. Yeah, there's Tom. He's like, hold on a second, let me get a beer. I saw a thing where it was like a meme of all these famous actors and actresses, and it showed how old they were, like when their most famous roles hit or whatever. So it's like you and I are both older than Marlon Brando and The Godfather, and like things like that. You're like, oh come on now, that hurts my feelings. Here's Gene Hackman in Superman. He's 27 years old. It's like, what?
Like, I told you, man, he's living that hard life.
Yeah.
It's all the the hookers and blow. So I don't understand this part, like why they're just like chilling there, you know? I mean, I know, obviously for plot, but it's like I feel like there wasn't the other guy like waiting for them to get back on his boat, and they're just like chilling in there, like not doing anything.
Yeah, I think it's just a chance for exposition, like you say. Just it's for plot purposes.
Rodney Dangerfield, Back to School, love that movie. What happened?
nothing. I'm trying to figure out how to put Carrie's link on there. It won't let me.
Hmm.
Let's see, where's the guy? The lighthouse used in the Point Reyes, Marin County. There are over 300 steps in the lighthouse.
Dang, imagine having to climb that. Like, this, technically, Stevie Wayne has to climb that to go do our radio show. So it's
Yeah, every day. Let's see. Honestly, believe that starting with Gen X, people are looking younger in general. Prenatal vitamins. That's what they say. Prenatal vitamins. Also, the just overall um, lack of just stupidity. What do you call it? Damn it! What's that movie? The Cowboys. I'm drawing a blank on it. Bone Tomahawk.
tomahawk.
There's a woman at the end who gives this big monologue about how life on the frontier is hard. Oh, jump scare. About how life on the frontier is
Oh,
hard, but the hardest part about it is all the idiots you have to live with, and just like how dangerous it is. And that's kind of like how I feel. Like we're getting better all the time. Like, yeah, try not to pollute the water, try not to pollute the air, try not to try not to do this and that. It makes us all get old and die and gives us cancer. Don't do that. Can you not dump the coal waste in the river? Okay, can you dump only half the coal waste in the river? So yeah, I just think whenever I see people, especially after the '80s, so maybe that turn over the last 40 or so years has been the vitamins, like she says. It's very possible. Something's doing it.
plus,
Preservatives in the food,
we're not in a Cold War anymore. I
less
feel like,
stress.
yeah, it's less stress. I don't know about that, but
Uh, yeah, I was gonna say. I think they keep us pretty stressed out.
yeah, no.
Let me see. Marlon Brando really blew up nicely. That's a Rodney Dangerfield joke from Mikey. You know this church was used in another movie. Um, I don't know. That's that all wooden core there. That's a good interior.
I like this whole scene coming up where he's like just listening to the tapes, and then all of a sudden it's just like everything starts going haywire from the little that plank of wood. I don't know.
Yeah.
So more of like that. I don't know, man. It's little things like that in this movie that just make it really memorable
So
for
there
me,
she is counting the steps.
right? And then she's walking in heels too, like those shoe heels or
Yeah.
whatever. It's like, man, what she should have done is she should have put a slide going down.
Yeah, you would think that you think they would have had some other way, but that's a good way to stretch your movie. This movie's only an hour and a half with credits. So
Hmm.
it's like, okay, we need to stretch another 10 seconds. It's like, all right, let's just show how ridiculous of a walk it is to get out to this lighthouse.
I think I told you the story, or I can't remember. It's like who I was talking to about it, but I like how movies like back then. I mean, even as far back as Universal monster movies, I remember when I had just picked them up on Blu-ray, and I was so excited. And then I look at the runtime, and I was like, man, these movies were, like a little over an hour. We're like an hour 10, hour 15 minutes, but there was so much in them. There was
Yeah,
it's just like they crammed so much stuff into it, and it didn't feel like, I don't know. It's just weird how like they do these big blockbuster movies now, where it's just like almost 3 hours long, and it's just a mess and all this stuff, and it's just like, okay, it's action scene after action scene after action scene. I think that's why I kind of, after after Endgame, I just kind of like, okay, well, I mean, I'm kind of done with, Marvel movies.
Yeah. Well, they used to another Hitchcock thing that I'm a big believer in, since we're looking at Janet Leigh here again, is he thinks that the length of a movie should be proportionate to the size of the human bladder. So if you take a leak before you go into the movie, you shouldn't have to get up and take a leak before the movie's over. Like, no matter how big your giant soda is. So, and I kind of agree with that. That's one of the things that annoys me around like the 2 hour and 40 minute mark of a movie. Like, seriously, is this like, I'm trying to get a sense of, is this going to be done, or do I have to go use the bathroom, or like, but they also, and someone's, I don't know, I'll have to do a research into this. I can't make any sense of it, but for some reason, since they raised the ticket prices, the theaters, now everybody complains because it's like, 12, $15 to go see a movie, sometimes like 17 or 18 for IMAX and all that. Um, they want the audience to feel like they're getting a bigger event for the ticket they're paying. So the people who make the movies are intentionally trying to draw them out so people feel like they're getting what they're paid for, like they're getting their money's worth out of their expensive ticket prices. And I totally disagree. I think it devalues the movie. I think if you could get shorter movies and get more showings in a day, it's better for theaters. But just the modern thinking is you want, 2 hours. So see, Larry's having issues with his internet. Are coming and going. So I'll ride this out in my pirate hat by myself. Hopefully it isn't me who left. Sometimes that happens before it'll say guest left, and you realize, no, they're there. It's me who isn't. So let me see here. Let's look at the chat. Jamie says she's 50 and she definitely looked older than you. Jamie's very young looking. I was surprised when I found out you were 50. I don't know what I expected you to look like, but uh, people's age, it doesn't, I mean, it's all relative. Folks are hard on themselves, they're hard on their bodies, scars, how much sun do you get, all that, genetics, like we say, what food you eat, where you live, stress of life. Um, yeah, I know Larry is great at holding still. It appears he froze on your guys' stream. I think he's just deep in thought. Um, I'm assuming he'll pop that back up here shortly. Maybe could possibly be some issue with oh, there he is, and he's back.
Yeah, man.
So
I think my internet had just went down.
yeah, it happened to me the other day with when I was on Gareth's stream. So I like that you were just deep in thought with the movie. Like, it kind of froze with you, where you just deeply focused on what was going on there. It made it seem like you love you some fog.
I mean, I do. I really do.
Yeah,
But
not that much.
see, see, like all this part right here, this little like where like I don't know if you kept going or if you had paused or anything, but the whole like
Right now,
six
Stevie
six.
Wayne's on the phone.
Okay, so it's like
I'm
the six must die, all that part of it where just everything starts going haywire. I don't know what it is. I like that part a lot.
Oh, okay. Yeah, right now I'm at 4808. I believe.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, 4818. My bad. Um, so yeah, she's at work at the radio station. She just had a phone call from her son.
And the kid's like, "Oh ma, I'll be all right."
Statuing is not a real word. Oh yeah, they thought you were statuing. They're statuing us.
Like,
Thanks for hanging out, Juan. I appreciate you, man. He's looking forward to your NECA review. So
thanks, Monroy, man. Thanks for coming by, man. Yeah, I got a good one tomorrow. I'm really excited about it.
oh yeah, why don't you tell us what's coming?
Do I? Do I want to? Well, yeah. I mean, I guess it's fine. Thanks again, man.
You don't take it easy, one.
Yeah, it's actually the yeah, I guess I could say it. I'm gonna put it on my channel anyway. Um, I'm gonna do the Creature from the Black Lagoon tomorrow.
Nice.
Yeah,
What time
so
will that be dropping? Sometime in the afternoon or during the day?
that'll drop. It'll drop at noon. I finished up everything and you know, before like we got on here, so I was able to upload it and put everything together and make sure that it's ready for tomorrow. So just finished up the last minute touches. So yeah, I'm excited. I love the Creature from the Black Lagoon, man. It's my favorite Universal monster. The other cool thing is, well, I'll let y'all, I'll let everybody see it at the end.
Well, yeah, I check them all out, so I'm sure I'll be giving it a look. But for those hanging out or watching, be sure to check out Larry's content. It sounds like that Black Lagoon creature gonna be fire.
Oh yeah. So is this lady? Is she just like a neighbor or something? The one that's watching the sun, or is she just like some
Um,
random babysitter?
I don't know. Hold on, I'm still in the hospital.
Yeah, we're in the hospital with where they're like
Oh,
looking at the body,
okay.
right?
Yeah, Jamie Lee's looking over at the body. With the guy with the eyes dug out of his head or whatever.
Hmm.
I was kind of entranced at how Atkins and this doctor both have the same like nautical seafaring outfit on. Like when we're not in the middle of doing this, we're busy, doing longshore seaman stuff. Mikey says his dad loves the creature from the Black Lagoon. That was one of the first movies I ever saw in 3D. Sven Gulli had a special showing of Creature from the Black Lagoon, and you had to go to the local 7-Eleven to and buy a Slurpee to get the 3D
Oh wow,
glasses.
that's
So
pretty
this
cool.
was like, yeah, it was a long, long time ago, and it was on like Fox W channel 32 back when I was a kid. I still remember it. And we had to go out to like a town away to wherever the nearest 7-Eleven is, get the 3D glasses, watch the creature from the Black Lagoon. You can see him swimming. Some of the fish were in the theater, like we're in the room with you.
Wow.
And then like 2 or 3 years later, I saw Jaws 3D in the theater, and it was like almost the same effect. Like you could tell they had totally taken a bunch of stuff from it.
Yeah, for I want to say I think it was the way my first introduction to the Universal monsters. I think I said it on a video before. Is like it's the and maybe I don't know if you remember these, but the orange books.
Yeah, I didn't remember them. That was a flashback you triggered. I got them from the local library when I was a kid. You used to, yeah, the public library, not the school library.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, I remember the same thing. Those little orange books with the Universal monsters, and the pictures. Some of them were kind of bobo, like they were, it would be like
Yeah,
Dracula, but all the pictures wouldn't be of like Bela Lugosi.
yeah. Like it was kind of sketchy. Like you see the King Kong one, and it's like I think it had like different photos, or there's one in particular that I remember that it's like, oh, this looks weird, and oh no, I think it was the Wolfman, but it was like London, not London After Midnight, Werewolf of London. Like
Oh, okay.
it was that one, even though it said the Wolfman on it. And but no, I that was my first like time seeing it, and I was just so like, oh man, this is awesome. And then I would take them home, and my mom was like, oh yeah, they're movies. I'm like, really, they're movies? And then that's how I got it. That was my first, into horror was the Universal monsters. That's why like they'll always hold, you know, special place for me. It's for like because of that. That was my introduction into horror back then. And Creature from the Black Lagoon was my favorite. Has always been my favorite.
Yeah, I don't know, probably a tie. Dracula and Wolfman and Frankenstein are probably all equal. I never really
Mhm.
connected to The Mummy. Creature from the Black Lagoon I liked a lot, but it was that the original is like maybe the only one I saw, and then later on when I went back and tried to catch them up is when I saw the others or whatever. But that first one, um, but yeah, in particularly Wolfman, Frankenstein, and Dracula were the big three that
Mhm.
got me into those black and whites, those Universal monsters. These bars, like they do this sometimes on a podcast I listen to. It. What does this bar smell like? Like I can smell cigarettes and spilled beer and like it smells like that, like just when alcohol soaks into wood. That
And then that
sort of,
and then they try to varnish. They try to
yeah.
clean by varnishing like the bar top, so it's like you got that mix of like you said, cigarette, skunky
Yeah.
beer, and
I can like almost smell this bar by looking at it. Like, yeah, they all have and that red carpeting, and there's something about dark carpeting in a dark room that's always going to have half a mildewy smell to it because it's just too much dark, not enough light. It attracts, especially someplace where people are spilling stuff.
hmm this bar kind of the inside of this bar reminds me of the bar in what's that movie? Phantasm, the first one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It at first it like reminded me of Death Proof, but then I saw they panned back out a little bit. You could see it was slightly more 50s.
Yeah, where they got the old like radios and stuff like that.
So now here's a process shot. You could tell they must have like taken gone and set the camera up and gotten a landscape shot, and then they're doing some sort of overlay with fog or whatever because it's just or maybe that's even a matte painting and they're pouring in fog over a matte painting because how they're controlling it is interesting to me.
Yeah, and then then you'll have the f- the strobing light in it. I can't remember how they did this part. I know some of the shots of the fog they shot it in reverse.
That's what I was
Right.
wondering if this shot was if it was maybe just it blowing out and clearing out. um like that famous shot at the beginning of The Thing, when the logo comes up and it's all like flickering and it burns into the screen or whatever. That
Mhm.
was done with like an aquarium and like paper that they like burnt the hole in, like they like cut out a, a stencil and like burnt the like flash paper out of it and had smoke fill up an aquarium. Like just something that would be so easy to do with a computer nowadays used to be so much work.
Well, just like I mean, just look at speaking of the thing. I mean, just look at the poster. You know, Drew Struzan did that like overnight. He came up with that iconic
Yeah,
poster
weird
just
light
as like
burning.
it's just like I don't know, man. Just things aren't nice. You movie posters, and it's just like the whole cast is. I don't know. I feel like posters aren't the same. There's like so much that's just not the same anymore, man.
That's another one of the many problems with corporate marketing is they don't try to create like a marketing campaign or like a imagery that goes with it. They're like, well, here's what's worked the last 17 times, so we're going to do that again except a new version of it.
hmm
It's not like what can we do to be different to get people's attention. It's like, no, we're going to do exactly what we've done over and over, scientifically proven. We want teal and orange, and we want a big head in the middle, and we want a head facing off each side. We want the title right here. Like you already know what it looks like before you even see it.
hmm Man, I wonder what I wonder what happened to that bartender when all the everything starts going crazy with the fog because he's just chilling at the bar. You know,
Yeah,
kind of reminds me of like in Desperado when Cheech is like, "Oh, the bartender never gets killed."
Want to bet?
Yeah, he's like, nah, man, he got it the worst. Man, Tom never got his windows fixed.
Yeah, just still driving around. Well, he's too busy getting laid.
Right?
He's got other things. He's busy,
I always every time like he stops, he's like, oh man, I must have forgot my 6 pack, and then he like turns around and goes back. I feel like it's in his contract. I gotta have like a sixer in like every movie. I gotta be drinking something in every other scene.
Yeah, I think the alcoholism in his movies was a function. I was like, well, he's an alcoholic, so we have to have him. So now we're at there's the 1 hour a mark of an hour and a half movie, and here the fog is rolling into town. So that's a little ahead of schedule as far as third act, but this is the first like we've got the fog backstory, but this is now the first time we're starting to see what happens when the fog shows up. Red lights.
Mm-hmm.
It's always a great trick to just figure out a way to like. Is there some way there can accidentally just be a red light somewhere to go stand by to help make things feel more just ominous?
It's like what would cause the red light to go off? Just the fog. That's it.
Yeah, ghost pirates hate ghost pirates hate funky lights. I wonder how much of this is done with. I'm sure there's probably a making of that breaks it all down, but like you would presume some of it is being done with fog machines or steam machines or whatever, but then there's going to be some of it that's done with like probably dry ice, and then there's probably other stuff that's going to be done with just cold, like when you open up a door to a freezer and the steam busts out or whatever. Like,
Well, I know they used a lot of those industrial fans, like in a lot of the bigger open areas,
yeah,
and they use like a fog machine, and they use like those big industrial fans to blow it in. And then I think, if I remember correctly, Carpenter was saying that like it was a nightmare to do it because if it didn't come or if a gust of wind would come in, it would just like forget about it. It would just ruin the
that's
shot.
kind of that's what I kept thinking whenever I'd see it. It's like like the Blob, for instance. That's all like stop motion, or you use a lot of miniatures and things. And I would assume with the fog, you would probably try to like make a miniature town, and you would try to pour fog, whatever little fog machine fog through the miniature town. But the idea of trying to like fill a city street with, fog,
Hmm.
dry ice or whatever. You
Yeah,
take care,
Jamie.
Jamie. Thank you for coming. Well, you're awesome. I appreciate you being here. You are the best.
Yar.
Mikey
Steve the
doesn't mind.
pirate.
Mikey doesn't like the Fog remake because he always has controversial opinions. Mikey's the uh Mikey's the Stephen A. Smith and the Skip Bayless of the horror movie world. Actually, I think
It's a,
Frogs is better than Silence of the Lambs. Hear me out. Um, but no, I always say whatever anybody likes. I think they should make movies with a shotgun. Like I want 50 movies, spray them all out. I'll like some of them. But if you make 3 movies and all 3 suck, I get grumpy about movie situations. So I like when studios make just all sorts of movies for all kinds of people, and you'll find, this
yeah.
movie
This is
appeals to my senses and this movie appeals to somebody else's.
what's like the spaghetti on the wall thing. Just throw a whole
Yeah.
pan of spaghetti at the wall and see if it sticks or see what sticks.
Well, yeah, as far as making money, that's the way to go. But then, even then, the spaghetti that doesn't stick and ends up on the counter ends up being like some people's favorite, or like 5 years down the road, somebody goes, "Did you see this spaghetti? Like it didn't stick the first time, but now it sticks great." It's like, I bet it does. It's covered in moss, but
Yeah, look at the thing. Look
yeah.
at look at Blade Runner. It's
Well,
like
that's why I don't like the Transformers method or whatever, where they just make one or two movies a year and they all cost $400 million. It's like, nah, man,
hmm
make 20 movies that cost 20 million.
not to go off on a tangent of non-horror, but have you seen that trailer for that movie, The Controller,
Uh-uh.
by um Gareth Edwards, the guy that did Rogue One?
Oh, okay.
It's coming out on the 28th. So yeah, tomorrow, I guess. And it looks pretty epic, man. I mean, it looks really good. Uh,
Hmm.
the guy from Tenet, he's the main star, and it's like basically mankind against AI. And just check out the trailer. I thought it looked pretty good.
Hmm. All
And
right, yeah, I'll give it.
but my point was is like supposedly that movie, like if you look at it, it looks incredibly good, like the way it's shot and everything and the effects. And apparently
Mhm.
it was only done for like 80 million compared to like all these other movies that are done for like three times more than, and they look like garbage.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole going back to when I was rambling about Hollywood accounting. That's movies don't really cost $330 million. Somebody somewhere is stealing, somebody somewhere is manipulating funds. Usually it's stock manipulation nowadays, because all the big studios have parent companies and you have to make the stock valuations look profitable. So
hmm
if you can hide all your losses one place and make it look like everything else is doing great, then the stock goes up and the CEO keeps his job and stuff. So most of the number fudging is usually so people like David Zasloff and Bob Iger and them keep their jobs. Wow, this is cool. All the like heavy duty fog that pours up against the window and looks like, yeah,
Yeah,
like it's almost like water filling up the screen.
I feel bad for this old lady, man. It's like this is somebody's grandmother. All she was doing was trying to earn a decent wage, babysitting, because her social security is not, not enough.
Well, this is all like real life stuff. This is what you should have in your story, is like these little things that would happen in real life. Normally, well, at least nowadays, they go through and on the rewrites, they would be like, "Well, we don't need this old lady character. Get rid of her. Like just
Mm.
have the boy go stay with whoever, the sheriff or somebody that we go to next, and then when Adrienne Barbeau gets there, she can rescue him from there." Like they try to tighten things up, and instead they make it worse.
Yeah, I mean, I think you had mentioned it that there's no caring for the characters anymore.
Yeah,
Like, you don't really care for. I mean, nowadays it's like, why do we care about these people? We don't. I mean, they don't
yeah,
really give us, they don't give us enough exposition, or they don't give us enough reason to care about these characters nowadays
yeah. Like
that are not main characters. You know what I mean?
you're supposed to do things that make the audience either like or dislike who's on the screen. And if somebody's not important, you try not to show them too much so the audience doesn't get hung up on them. Like, oh, what happened to our friend from the realtor shop or whatever? Like this older lady here. Like she's not that important of a character, but it's
Boom.
like, yeah, that's who would be watching this kid, you know?
I like the subtitle or the caption, flesh squelching or whatever that word was.
Yeah, the little captions, the parentheticals and the captions always crack me up. So now here, that's basically The Shining, except with pirate ghosts.
hmm
See, that's what when I'm complaining about producers, this is classic producer BS crap right here. You're like, man, that scene in The Shining was so awesome when Jack Nicholson burst through that door. Do something like that. And then
Yeah,
it's like, well, yeah, The Shining already did it. We should probably try to do something else. They're like, no, do the Shining thing. It's great. Like, ugh.
I was gonna tell you, man. I didn't see anybody mention it or anything in your Silence of the Lambs watch party, but did you know that Romero did a cameo in that?
Oh, is Romero in there as well?
Yeah,
Where's he at?
he's at the beginning when I think it's after she sees Lecter for the first time, and she's like walking out, and there's that prisoner that's doing like he does the and throws
Yeah,
the stuff.
multiple MIGs.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
the guard that was Romero.
Oh, okay. So
It's
like,
like
yeah, after when because I do remember there being some extra guards kind of over there, but I didn't really look at them all that closely. So
and
now
that's it.
the truck is completely enveloped in the fog, and the damn ghost pirate hooks.
Like leave it to a woman's bad driving
I'm
to
not
do
owning that. That
to
was
do.
Larry. That's all hate mail to Larry Horror, the horror cat dad on that one. Uh,
I'm
our
kidding.
matey. Hey.
I'm kidding, man. I'm kidding.
Mikey Morg says he's interested in to see Thanksgiving. Yeah, I am too. I want to check that one out.
Sloshing, scraping. I like how the power out is out and everything, and it's like people are just like just still just chilling around. It's like nobody knows why the power went out.
Yeah, they. I think they were hoping for the best. I like Adrienne Barbeau. She basically, after her big long walking scene with the steps, she's pretty much just been in this one room in front of a microphone the whole time, like straight Pontypool style. Like she was able to film her scenes in like an afternoon.
Right?
And then that shot they keep cutting to this one with the damn now the fog is straight up nuclear waste, like just pouring in across the beach.
It's like Nukem
Yeah.
High Waste.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out how they're doing it. Every time I look at it, the first time I thought it was a regular shot, and then they did an overlay of some sort of smoke, like an optical of smoke over the top. And then later on, I thought it might have been a matte painting. But now
I
I'm
think,
back to no, it's a real shot with an overlay. That's what I'm going back to.
yeah, I think so. I'm not sure the background kind of looked like a matte painting though, like the mountain.
Yeah, the sky it had like a real pretty sunset to it, and that's what made me
Hmm.
think it was maybe a matte painting or there was some sort of lighting going on in the background there.
Hmm.
Um, but the beach, the way the water was moving, there's no way that that was anything other than the real ocean. So yeah, it might have
Yeah,
been like three effects, like the beach, and then they chopped the top off and put lights behind it. And then they added the fog overlay over the top because they've used that one shot. They cut to it like 10 times, so they
hmm.
were very proud of how it turned out.
I see. Like here, I think is all like the industrial fans and the fog machines, like where they're
Yeah, I
like
can
in the
see
town
that.
and they're like they start backing out and they're trying to get away from the fog.
But just trying to capture the fog, like on with the camera, like trying to light it and get it on screen, has got to be really difficult.
Yeah, that's why Carpenter had said that it's like it was really hard to film
Yeah.
like that that aspect of it.
Well, if you've ever just been like outside on a real foggy day and you try to capture it, or like, what your eye sees compared to what your camera is going to pick up, it needs to be thick. You know?
Yeah, I mean, there's been times where like I see like there was huge like what I to me it looks like a huge fog like um yard or something like that. Like I was driving and I was like, oh wow, like it was super thick, right? But then I take a picture of it and it's just like nothing. It's like a little bit. It's just
Yeah,
weird.
like rainbows or sometimes sunsets or whatever. You'll just see something with the naked eye that, like, oh, I got to get a picture of that. And you try to capture it with the camera and it just doesn't translate because of the lighting situations or whatever. So I imagine trying to capture fog at night is like, that just sounds like something that would drive me nuts. I like this almost like the birds ending, like where we've gathered
Mhm.
together these people and we've got them all into like one place, one last stand, the heroes of various stories of our movie.
And I like and I like that they all had like a an arc, or they all had like a something going on, you know,
Yeah.
like in the movie, like the priest has there's something, there's a story behind him, you know. Janet Leigh, there's a story behind her, you know.
Well, that's kind of what we were saying before with the characterizations. Like you kind of want to have everybody doing something when the
Hmm.
story happens because that's what they would be doing with their lives. It's like, well, this lady's a real estate agent and this person's the mayor or whatever, and then uh, Adrienne Barbeau's a DJ. Yeah, that fog effect right there was clearly an overlay. That was janky and bad. But now this is kind of amazing where they're filling
Hmm.
the lighthouse up. Yeah, you can tell they're trying all the tricks they can to make the fog work, but
Yeah, like that. Yeah, that part is nice. The way it just engulfs the lighthouse. That's really nice.
yeah.
And I'm
Yeah, there
glad that.
the fog is more like white and blue, like the one cover. The
Hmm.
it's more like this cover instead of like this cover. So yeah, I think they're shooting more. This one looked more like the movie.
They need to do a. Somebody needs to edit together where it looks like the green,
Yeah.
like just color change the fog and make it green.
Yeah, Mikey, I agree. I think that's what happened is this was being filmed at the same time as like Cheech and Chong's Up in Smoke or something was right next door. Maybe Nice Dreams was being filmed on the same lot.
Right? To Adrienne Barbeau right now, she's coming down like, is that what I think I'd smell?
Yeah.
I have to say this Amazon version looks pretty nice.
Yeah, it's a good transfer. It's for sure. It's clean, good, like lit up bright.
Hmm.
Uh I've gotten so used to watching the Tubi versions of these things with commercials that just sitting here playing it clean with no commercials feels so nice. Like, oh yeah, it is fun to go no commercials.
Yeah, because I feel like even with the commercials, like how they're shot now and everything, it clearly you see it'll break up the tension of the film and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Dang. See, this is, I mean, you talk about like strong female characters. I mean, Adrienne Barbeau, she's like holding her own, man. So she's like holding off against the ghost pirates. I mean, she makes it up on top of the lighthouse by herself. I mean, it's just, you
Oh,
know,
I feel like this whole movie is like almost yeah, like a matriarchal movie. Like it's
yeah.
about women.
Hmm.
Tom Atkins picks up Jamie Lee Curtis, but he doesn't really have any more agency than she does. They're basically equals in this. It's not like she's following him around. They're pretty
Yeah.
much pals or whatever. And I wouldn't say Hal Holbrook is any more like powerful than Janet Leigh or
Right.
vice versa. So Like all the stories are about the bigger stories are about women characters, and none of them are like weaklings who were abused or nothing.
Hmm. Man, he's holding on to that cross for dear life.
Yeah. Well, it's funny that he has that Carpenter is using like a lot of his people, Tom Atkins and Nick Castle and them for the stunts and all that. It's all the Carpenter folks. But then he
Hmm.
mixes in John Huston and or John Houseman and um, uh, Hal Holbrook. It's like he wanted to mix in these famous old school actors and get them in here too while he had a chance to work with them.
Yeah, well, I mean, even and going back to what you said, you mentioned like Rodriguez and Tarantino. They did the same thing. I feel like to a degree, Rob Zombie does the same thing too because he uses a lot of like older actors as well.
Yeah, that's a common thing actors or directors do. They kind of get an ensemble cast. Like you want your big stars, your above the title stars to change, but um, like how Scorsese always works with De Niro, Pesci, Leonardo DiCaprio, like um, Harvey Keitel, like the people who are going to be in his movies, and
Hmm.
that's Carpenter often has this where it's like, yeah, Jamie Lee and I have a rapport, and then Adrienne Barbeau and all these people. They should have had Kurt Russell play this head zombie. That's what they should have had, or zombie ghost pirate, whatever you want to call him,
That would have been interesting.
because he looks like Kurt Russell.
But you know who it is, right?
Um, is that I was gonna say, is this Rob Bottin?
Hmm. He's the main.
I know he's I know he's one of the or the pirates. Is he's the main one? Huh? Oh, look at there. And also, do you guys who makes that figure?
NECA.
Okay, that's a neck also.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a retro cloth one. I
Okay.
if I can find one at a decent price, I might buy another one because the eyes they light up.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, and it's like, man, I wanna open this one, but it's like,
Oh, then Stevie Wayne catches the hook in the chest.
hmm.
I remember that as a kid. That one shook me up where the hook goes into the clavicle. There's something
Hmm.
about that area and that bone. Because even then, you can kind of like just tap on it and feel it feels vulnerable. Like it.
But the
But
fact,
this is.
but the
I'm
fact
sorry.
that
Go ahead.
she survived that, you know what I mean? Like I thought that was, shows that she's tough,
Yeah. Well, it's also movie writing. In real life, I'm not even sure you'd be able to lift your arm after you've had that big thing
Oh
stuck
no,
jabbed through.
no,
Do you
but I
have
mean,
your Stevie Wayne figure with you too?
yeah.
Ah, boy, I was gonna say she's got the cross and everything, so now's the time to break that one out.
Hmm. It's got the Dane. I wish the weird thing. I wish they would have had the coin. That would have been funny too, or that would have been a cool like to add to it.
Yeah, so for those of you who like this movie, I recommend going to Horror Cat Dad's channel and check out his that review of that Stevie Wayne figure there. He opens it up and takes it out, and you get to see Adrienne Barbeau's face sculpt all close. Like it's eerie. It looks just like her and stuff. Like so, all that's really neat.
Boom.
And speaking of really neat, now would be a great time to drop by the link posted to the top of the chat and vote for Don for Horror YouTuber of the Month for October. This chat is being brought to you by Don for Horror YouTuber of the Month for October. Hopefully, I won't ever have to mention this to you again. Thank you.
Just remember, if you vote for Don, all of your wildest dreams will come true.
Uh, asterisk, Don not responsible for fulfilling dreams.
Per Pedro.
Per
Pedro said,
Pedro.
Pedro said that.
Yeah, that's on Pedro. Track him down.
Yeah, track him down.
Mm. Oh
Yeah,
wow.
but yeah, the
This
whole
is the
like
this is the all is lost moment. The she's on the roof or on the tower of the light tower. She's on the roof. There's nowhere to go. She's getting ready to fall off. And she's already been stabbed in the chest and had her clavicle busted up. And the ghosts are getting ready to eat at her. And then as the fog dissipates, it's all back to good. Like she seemed totally screwed. And then it all redeemed itself.
yeah, it's and then she just chills like, wow. I mean, can
There's,
you imagine like just the sigh of relief, like having to go through that?
well, it's classic ghost BS. I get frustrated with ghosts in movies. I'm getting ready to watch all these horror movies for Halloween. I'm going to bitch about it for a month straight. You're going to hear me. Ghosts are needy jerks. They always want you to solve some little riddle for them. Like, oh, you moved into my house, so now you have to figure out who killed me. It's like, what kind of real estate deal is that? Screw you, ghost. Like, yeah, ghosts are always deputizing people into little mysteries and shit. It's like, nah, back off, ghost. I'm the living person. I'll tell you what to do, buddy. Poke you in your ghost chest. So
It's
yeah,
like
this here's a classic example. These ghosts have an agenda. It's like,
right.
damn it, ghosts. But I do agree with Jamie. These are some Scooby Doo ass ghosts.
I don't know what
These
happened to Antonio Bay tonight.
ghost pirates.
Yeah, tried to destroy us. Even then, like that whole like what she's saying at the end is just like haunting, you know. And it just adds to that eerie, you know. I don't know.
Well, this is
It's just
once again Carpenter. He does it in The Thing. He does it with Halloween mainly, but he does it with The Thing, and he does it with this too, where he leaves it open ended, not for a sequel, but for the audience. Like evil is still out there. Be scared after you're done seeing this movie.
mm-hmm.
Right? Normally you leave it open ended because we want the Fog 2 or the Fog 3. This movie's like, no, you need to be worried that these damn ghosts are out there and you need to be afraid of the fog for the rest of your damn life.
We need
Like that's
the fog resurgence.
yeah, exactly. Fog 2 Electric Boogaloo. V Fog 2 Viva Fog Vegas. Um um But like Halloween 1, if they never would have made a sequel, that is such a good ass ending where they
Oh
go
yeah.
and everybody goes inside and they come back and the body's gone. Because then you know
Mm-hmm.
evil's just out there. You know, you can't sleep at night. The evil's out there.
Mm-hmm.
But here, everything is always left open for a sequel. So yeah, there we see Hal Holbrook getting it killed for the end. John Houseman, Janet Leigh, Jamie Lee Curtis. Okay.
Oh,
James Canning, Charles Cyphers. There's another classic old school actor for you. Hal Holbrook, John Goff, George Buckflower.
he was
George
also in.
Buckflower is playing Tommy Wallace. That's funny. That's
I
another
didn't even
John
notice.
Carpenter friend.
Yeah. Oh look,
Um,
Dan O'Bannon. He's playing Dan O'Bannon.
yeah, nice. Yeah, Tommy Lee Wallace plays a ghost. That's funny. Rob Bottin is Blake. Darwin Jostin plays Dr. Phibes. Or that's funny. That's an old school I don't know, kids horror movie, whatever you call it. The
Mm-hmm.
Abominable Dr. Phibes or however you.
So do you say Botin or Botan? I know some people pronounce it Botan.
I've heard it both, and I've heard Carpenter pronounce it both. Um, I've heard Rob Bottin say Bottin, so that's what I go with. But I've heard both, so that's one of those. That's the same with when you said Struzan earlier. I say Struzen, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
until we hear that person say it, and even then, some of those jagoffs mess with people and change their name around. Oh, actually, I am Horror Cat Dad.
I'm Dumas.
I'm Horror Cat Dad. Oh, okay, thanks. So yeah, I think some of these older folks, it's just however each individual wants to pronounce it.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Chabot is in here. Anthony, I saw you go by earlier, and and then you disappeared, and I completely forgot about you. You awesome dude. I stopped by your video or your channel the other day and had you were singing Nas, I think, and uh, I was looking for you had a different rap song I was looking for, but I never found it, so I'll have to track that down and go back. But be sure to check out Anthony Chabot, world's greatest YouTuber on the road to 1K. Rob Bottin and Dean Cundy, Blake Effects. That's funny because the main character is Blake. So yeah, that's the great both of them working on it.
Well, Dean Cundy also did the thing, right?
Yes, and
Escape
think
from
he
New
might
York
have
too.
did. I want to say In the Mouth of Madness, maybe, and he might have done Escape from New York too. Oh, I believe Escape from New York.
I'm kind of kicking myself for not getting his signature when I met most of the cast of the when I met Wilford Brimley,
Oh, okay.
because he was there with some of the cast from the thing, and that's when I got to meet Wilford Brimley and Keith David.
You diabetes. Um, yeah, I don't know. Some of those people like Nick Castle and even like Deborah Hill. Well, Deborah Hill's different, but some of those people, like you only know their names and you kind of know their legend, but you don't really even associate their face. Like if you saw them walking down the street, you would be like, "Oh shit, Nick Castle," you know what I mean? Like they're people who like my guy Dick Warlock. Dick Warlock is a good signature to have, but I couldn't
Hmm.
pick Dick Warlock out of a lineup. You know,
No,
like I'm not sure I would even know what he looks like. But if I
well,
had Dick Warlock's signature on something, awesome. So
yeah.
Dick Warlock,
What's like when I
please send me your signature. I'm about to be horror YouTuber of the month. I'm very prestigious.
when I got to meet him, was it couple of no, yeah, it was like 2 years ago. It was the same year that I met the cast from the Monster Squad. Um,
Okay.
so apparently he did stunt work in Commando.
Oh, okay.
So
Wow.
like
Well,
in Commando in the scene, and me and my buddy Joe and he was like, I wonder if that was him, and I was like, you know what, it kind of resembles him. So when I met him, I was like, hey, me and my buddy were talking. We are watching Commando. Were you the cop that yells out, "Hey, lady!" And then he like totally lit up. He's like, "Oh," he's like, "Yeah, that was me." And he got like so excited when we mentioned that. That was awesome, man. That's just like that was really cool. He's
yeah,
super
I
nice.
imagine. I imagine guys like that they turn up in so many movies, but they're never what's the old Clint Eastwood show, The Fall Guy, where he's like, "I'm the unknown stunt man" or whatever.
Hmm.
That's them guys, those dudes that all those behind the screen and like all the behind the scenes people. They're just underappreciated.
Yeah. Well, it's like Kane Hodder. Kane Hodder's been in a million things, and I didn't realize that he was in like
Yeah, I just saw something. I just saw something the other day. Uh, he was a stuntman that was in for 2 seconds and got killed, like a mobster movie. Oh,
it was a
Steven
Seagal movie.
Seagal.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. One something Gareth was watching had Kane
Hmm.
Hodder in it for like 5 seconds. But anyways, it's 1 a.m. I think that's probably a good time to wrap her up. Well, 3 minutes to one. Probably good. I'd tell you to wrap her up. You heading to the big Fright Fest tomorrow? Your convention. You're gonna be there all weekend. Can we look forward to any reports or anything? Any footage?
Yeah, well, now that I got because now that I got my YouTube live working after the last time, I should be able to like do some more, actually be there, and I'm gonna do some stuff when I'm there, just to kind of like kind of just a quick hey everybody and show everybody what's going on. So at least that now I can do that, because last time I was like, okay, I want to go live. I didn't realize I had to do it like 24 hours, and I wanted to do it on Saturday when there's like more people, more stuff going on and stuff. But I ended up not realizing I had to activate it or whatever.
Yeah, That's and that reminds me, anybody watch, oh shit, it's probably too late now. Anybody watching this stream, whenever we end, there's always usually a minute or two where the stream goes dead. So sometimes like folks will be watching right now, but they're a half hour behind us because they started from the beginning when we started. So it'll just shut them off in the middle and they'll be like, what the hell happened? It's a YouTube function where like if I stood up and my pants fell off and I quick pressed delete stream, it would private it right away. So every time you delete something or anytime you end a stream, it immediately privates it in case you said something you wish you were hiding or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some fool accidentally says the N word and doesn't want to get fired or something. You can quick hit the stream and it privates it. So whenever I end a stream, there's usually a few minutes of just dead, like it goes black for the world and they can't find it. But then I immediately go back and relist it. So if something disappears, it'll be back. Is the whole point of that story. So just bear with us. I'm hoping after a good 10 or 15 streams, YouTube will give me the option to turn that off.
And hopefully, people that are rewatching this or something, remember, go to that link up there. Go vote for Don, man.
Well, yeah, but also got to remember, though, this will be living in perpetuity. So, unfortunately, we got 1 day left to vote for me for Horror YouTuber of the Month. Hopefully, next time you see me, I'll be wearing a scepter and sitting on a crown of skulls or a throne of skulls. So, yeah, that's my plan. But I thank so much everybody who came by and stopped in. Mikey's Morgue, Sean Blue Digital, my guy Anthony Chabot, Russell Collier, the man. Rusty's always awesome and hilarious with the jokes. We had Carrie Crave Cinema, Popping the Popcorn, Katie. Those girls are awesome. Jamie Hart was in here for a while. I always forget people, but the important crew, Echo Cero was here. Echo Cero was always awesome. Sean Blue
My boy
Digital, I probably
Monroy.
mentioned him. Your boy was in here. I believe Blake said he was going to watch. Jason said he was going to watch the remake or the replay or whatever. So
Later,
lots of homies
Mikey.
and friends.
Take it easy, man.
So
Have a good night.
you take care, Mikey. I appreciate you, buddy. I think I appreciate you too, Larry. I think it's time to wrap it up.
Don, as always a pleasure, my
My
man.
man. I appreciate you kicking off spooky season with me with Fog, and
Of course.
I appreciate John Carpenter for making the Fog.
Oh,
All right,
yeah.
you have fun at the convention. I'll be keeping up on your work as usual. I'm sure we'll see you back here for another film soon.
Cool, brother. Take it easy. Thanks
All
again for
right,
having me.
take care, buddy.